So now we're going to be talking about our favorite directors and our favorite movies by them, which films have had a really good influence on us and just really appeal to us, and generally speaking. So the first director we're going to talk about is Martin Scorsese, one of a contemporary director nowadays. He's been around for a while, and my favorite film dated back in 1990, and it's definitely my favorite film of that decade. It's called Goodfellas. I just find this film fascinating, how it tells you these codes that these characters live by, and how everything it's almost like this cause and effect. They make one choice and then just ultimately leads to their degradation as mafia. Joe Pesci giving, I think, an epic performance. It's very over the top, but it's just, there's a few great scenes with him and Ray Liotta, and the typical funny guy scene, which is just, I think that's one of the best scenes in cinema history.
Funny how? What?
Just, you're funny.
You mean, so? Let me understand this, because maybe it's me, I'm a little f***ed up, maybe. But I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you? I make you laugh? I'm here to f***ing amuse you? What do you mean funny? Funny how?
It's great directing by Martin Scorsese. He knows how to tell this epic story, really. It's 2.5 hours, but you will not be bored with this film. There's so much going on in this film, but it all ties together. There's some great montages, like when they play Eric Clapton's Layla to a whole bunch of dead bodies, and that's about at the climax of the film. And it's worth the watch? I think so.
Yeah, my pick for him is Goodfellas as well. Like you simply can't go wrong with this movie. It's just, it's an absolute knockout in every which way. It's long. It never seems long. Mm-hmm. It's so immersive. You just jump in Ray Liotta.
You care so much about these characters.
You just jump right into Ray Liotta's position. It explains why so well, but without taking it too far. It's just everything's so perfectly well timed.
What's interesting what Martin Scorsese does with the narration in the film is that we get Henry Hill, and we also get his wife, Karen Hill, played by Lorraine Bracco, very good in this, and how she kind of tells another side to, like Henry Hill saying, that was life, that's how we did everything, and then how she's kind of giving you the other side, and she kind of counters him, so it kind of balances out the whole idea. It becomes almost very objectified in the end.
So see, it's just, in this one especially, but in every one of his films, he seems to always analyze the codes of men so well.
Exactly.
He just understands the male bonding experience, why men do the things they do.
To us, those goody-good people who work shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day, worried about their bills, were dead. And they were suckers. They had no balls. If we wanted something, we just took it.
He doesn't glorify the life, I find. He just wants to understand it and tell you, and he has sympathy for these people. They're like people. They're not just these thugs with the chicks and the muscles, It's very interesting.
And in addition to the social commentary, it's so blatantly entertaining. It's just like obviously the sequences of action, the beatings, the sudden outbursts of violence, the unpredictability of some of the characters, and and of course just how it progresses over all those years in the movie, and leading to the film's shocking ending and all, and it's just
utterly brilliant.
Okay, so what am I doing? Oh, I'm chasing this guy. No, he's chasing me.
We talked about Martin Scorsese, maybe you've heard of him, and you've probably heard of this guy as well. His name is Christopher Nolan, and he's a famous director. He's directed The Dark Knight, Insomnia, The Prestige, some stuff you may have heard of, but my favorite film by him is one of his first major, major films that he put into Hollywood called Memento. This is one he originally written based on a short story from his brother Jonathan Nolan, and it is definitely one of the most utterly complex, mind-blowing experiences I have had personally seeing in the movies. This came out in the year 2000, starring Guy Pearce, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Joe Pantoliano, and basically Guy Pearce plays this the man who has short-term memory loss who is trying to find his wife's killer.
You really want to get this guy, don't you? He killed my wife. He took away my f***ing memory.
Here's the catch. The movie kind of plays backwards. Now, you think, how on earth can that possibly work? A movie cannot play backwards. It can. It simply can. And it is a crime that it does not win for original screenplay or editing, and it's a crime that it didn't win for anything. But Memento is one of the most complex pieces of work I've ever seen pulled off so that you can understand it. Because some films lose themselves halfway through, and maybe you don't understand something, and maybe you're like, oh, what happened there? But this one just works on every single level. The acting is fantastic. The direction is so neo-noir-esque. It's like a crime thriller, but it has the big brain attached to it, and just everything in this film seems to work. And that is why I think Memento is Christopher Nolan's best work.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not quite Lynch. It's not quite Scorsese. He finds a genre of his own in the film,
which
is very interesting.
Yeah.
And how he distorts time. But what's interesting is you're just as confused as this guy.
Exactly.
So you know stuff that he doesn't know. You're on the exact same wavelength that he is throughout the entire film.
And what's really funny is by like by the 3/4 mark, you're trying to put together what you saw maybe in the first part of the movie, and it's like, hey, how did that happen? Oh yeah, that's because that happened, and you're trying to piece it together yourself, kind of like him trying to piece together his life, and trying to, it just puts layer upon layer upon layer. You could study this film to death.
Yeah,
and
Guybrush is very good.
You'll always find something new.
Guybrush is great, yeah. My pick for Christopher Nolan's best film is one he mentioned before he introduced Memento, which is The Dark Knight, one of his most recent films. I just find this film just riveting on basically how he just... Gotham is a fictitious city, but how he brings it to life, and how you feel like you've been there before. It's very, very eerie. You have Heath Ledger's amazing performance as the Joker, just totally menacing, and it's very complex. He's not like he's trying to take over the world or some cliche motive like that. He just wants to see the world burn, which is just frightening.
How about a magic trick? I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. Ta-da! It's gone. Oh, and by the way, the suit, it wasn't cheap. You ought to know, you bought it.
There's a whole bunch of little intercutting going on, but he just cuts this thing seamlessly, and it's entertaining throughout 2 hours 40 minutes. I was never bored. There was never a dropout. Unbelievable. That's when I said this guy is a great director.
This is my second favorite from him. A very close second to Memento. Yeah. I just love Memento because it was like his original work. But the thing is, The Dark Knight, you consider this came from characters in like the 50s that were on TV, just like, holy rusted metal Batman, and it was like a parody of superheroes.
Exactly, yeah.
And he takes these characters, makes them so complex, he almost has like this tragedy aspect about it in the entire movie.
It's serious.
So that's for the film guys to get. But then on top of that, you have some of the most riveting action sequences, like the semi-truck sequence and chasing the SWAT car.
Those are epic.
Those are unbelievable sweeping shots.
All these characters, they have a commentary on what's going on. They all have different point of views. Every single one, they're not like, similar, okay, they're just one-dimensional characters. They all have different point of views on justice system, how to lead a government, vigilante, obviously Batman. Unbelievable. Yeah. Now moving on to our third director, which is Stanley Kubrick. He's done so many great films, it's hard to pick, like Eyes Wide Shut, 2001, Barry Lyndon. But I have to say A Clockwork Orange, which was originally based on a novel by Anthony Burgess. And this is a world, I read the book, it's very hard to read through because he invents his own language basically in the film, which is very almost like J.R. Tolkien-like. And very, very great because it doesn't give you input really onto the authoritarian government that's going on. They say, okay, we get that's happening. We have these characters, who are messed up from this society and they're just running amok in this basically anarchy world.
Can you spare some cutter, me brothers? Go on, do me in, you bastard cowards. We don't want to live anyway. Not in a stinking world like this.
Oh? And what's so stinking about it?
Malcolm McDowell, I think, gives a career performance as Alex. Just utterly, he has zero redeeming qualities, but yet you want to follow him throughout this entire film. First half is him, walking around, doing a bunch of crazy things. You still have this respect for him, you still care for him, so when he gets caught and he goes to to prison, it's almost a bit of a character study, just watching how he's thinking. And there's this great sequence when he has this thing called the Ludovico technique performed on him. Kubrick has this idea about exploiting eyes in his film, just the menace of eyes. Something so fascinating about the eyes that just very hypnotic, it's very weird. He's playing Beethoven in slow motion, it's hypnotic, it's seductive, it's unusually just immersing. I love it. That's my favorite film.
It's perverted, it's twisted, it's demented, and I love it too. And it's just... I think what makes this movie very creepy is the fact that when this movie came out, it was actually banned in Britain for the next 25 years. That's true. And then it was able to come out, and then, people were obviously blown away by it.
Another fascinating part of the film, I read the book after I saw the movie, and I noticed that they never say "Sing in the Rain," so where is it? Apparently, what we found out is that it's improvised.
Yeah,
I can't believe that. When they raid the home, and that is unbelievable.
That is unbelievable improvisation.
It makes the movie.
That is the scene that is most memorable, and also when he dances with the woman with the plastic penis and kills her.
Oh,
that was
which is in the book.
Yeah, which is in the book, of course. But unbelievably demented, and I agree that is a great film.
It is.